it's Spider. So, I decided to take my crack at my very first Soulsborne challenge run. Now, you think I'd do something easy like Pyromancies only, or ease my way into it. Can I beat Dark Souls 3 at Soul Level 1? Now, I would like to say, just for right now, this is going to be just the base game. Minus one boss. I want to save him and the DLC for another video, because after finally beating this challenge run, this broke me a little bit. More specifically, two bosses broke me. But to be honest, this is the most fun I've had in Dark Souls 3 in a while. It forced me to think outside the box, take my time, and really learn the boss's movesets. While, yeah, also making me use weapons and methods I'd never thought to use before. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I decided to start with the Deprived class, considering that if I chose anything else, I would probably immediately fail the run. I quickly make my way through the Cemetery of Ash to Edict Cinder. With this being the standard level to deal with him, even after not playing for quite some time, he was easy to handle, and Firelink Shrine became accessible. After getting to Firelink, I put the sword into the bonfire, took a quick look around before transferring my blue power raid into my Sunny D, and then traveling to the High Wall of Lothric. Nothing of note really happens here. I quickly go through, picking up another club, forgetting that, I can't power stance in Dark Souls 3, picking up a raw gem, as for the first time, it's actually going to be useful since I can't scale off of leveling up my stats. I quickly make my way down into the building where I pick up the cell key, the Estus shard, and the Titanite shard in the room before making my way to Emma to pick up the banner. And from there, I make my way down to Vort. While Vort isn't the hardest boss, on the first attempt, it went pretty well. Until he's transitioned into, phase 2. Then his whole body became a hitbox, and I wasn't ready for that, so it killed me in the phase transition. After that, I decided to go and finally get Grey Rat out of his cell, with a little bit of trouble in doing so. I wanted to get access to his shop just in case I find myself wanting to get my hands on a different weapon. Spoiler alert, he didn't have the different weapon I wanted. After sending Grey Rat to Firelink, I took the shortcut and went back to fight Vort for the second time. This round goes a lot better. And I didn't even have to use lightning resin. Yep, definitely didn't need the lightning resin, and not me using it by accident.
With just random uses, and then Dark Souls 3 has like...
Once I finish up with Vort, I take a ride with the Impish Travel Agency to get down to the Undead Settlement. From here, I head back to Firelink Shrine, do the jump up to the roof, and get my hands on another Estus Shard and Silver Covetous Ring. While it won't help much this run, I figured having it would be nice. Heading back to the Undead Settlement, I head down grabbing Fire Paper and Loretta's Bone along with another shard, before going to the Cliffside Bonfire. After freeing Conrax and sending him back to the Firelink Shrine, and getting the dilapidated bridge bonfire, I go make friends with the giant, help Sigurd with the demon, and get both the Flynn's ring and Chloranthy ring. I head back to the dilapidated bridge bonfire and get ready to go fight the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. Along the way, picking up my weapon for the majority of this run, the Reinforced Club. In the first round against the Curse-Rotted Greatwood, I managed to get him down to the last chunk of his health, but I admit that I got greedy. I tunnel vision on the health and didn't have enough stamina or time to react to his grab, killing me in one shot. After dying, I quickly went back to Firelink Shrine and upgraded the Reinforced Club to +1, which gave me enough damage and, me remembering that he has a grab attack, saved enough stamina to dodge this time, easily clearing the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. After that, I return to Sigurd's elevator and take it down to the Road of Sacrifices and continue on to the swamp. I get the Grasscrest shield and pick up the Fallen Knight's armor set before trying, and for the first time in my memory, failing the ladder glitch to the Exiled Warriors. Sort of. I go back and get the Fahrenkeep bonfire, then return to the one just outside of the castle, having some struggles with Hazel and the dog.
You fucking dumbass!
I make my way up and head into the boss fight that I thought would give me the hardest time this run, the Crystal Sage. The Crystal Sage in previous normal runs for me has given me plenty of troubles, but funny enough, it only took me one attempt here to take him down. It's thanks to the bleed at the end that managed to kill him before his teleport. Who knows what would have happened if I lost track of him again. In this area, my routing gets a weird, like, back and forth thing. So, after finishing up with the Crystal Sage, I get the bonfire at the Cleansing Chapel and make my way to Farron's Keep. I wanted to get this area done and out of the way and ready for when I wanted to go fight the Abyss Watchers. I head up to the Great Wolf of Farron and grab the Twinkling Titanite and the Dreamcatcher's ashes. Dreamcatcher? Dream Chaser, I think. On top of the bridge, I deal with the Stray Demon and grab a couple pieces of large Titanite for later. Now, let's quickly run through the Cathedral of the Deep because this area is one of the worst. Quickly, I make my way up and through the cathedral, open the doors and the shortcuts, struggling to kill Kirk. Forget how MB fuck to progress Patch's quest line.
There's Patches. Go away.
I just don't have Patches?
Figured it out, got Sigurd's armor, and finally went off to handle the Deacons of the Deep. The Deacons were not a hard fight. Just be careful to not get one shot by everybody spamming a fireball. Finishing off the Deacons gave me the last boss before I had to continue further into the game. So now it was time for the first Lords of Cinder of the run. The Abyss Watchers were an interesting fight, with it being my favorite in Dark Souls 3. I was really looking forward to how this fight would go for me. The first attempt at them actually went fairly well. After the second Abyss Watcher shows up, I just have to bide my time and wait for my backup to show up. Second phase, I was holding my own. But this fight shows me, brutally, how easy one mistake can mess up the entire fight. And how it's going to continue on further into the run. I slip up and he managed to catch me in a single combo after a mistimed dodge, ending that attempt. The next attempt, I took the long way around the arena as to not get hunted down by so many different enemies outside the arena. This time, first phase went about the same as the last one. I took my time and slowly take down his health. In the second phase, I had a bit more of a plan than before, even if it wasn't a good one. Bait the long distance attacks, if possible, and when he gets close, dodge in and punish with 3 swings, leaving me enough stamina to dodge afterwards. It does get dicey from time to time, but in the end, I was able to get one more backstab and follow up with a combo to end the fight.
Backstab. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Finishing up with the Abyss Watchers, I make my way down into the catacomb. I quickly run through, picking up the undead bone shard from the skeletal wheel, and make my way down to Smoldering Lake, where I go get a large titanite for later. My next target was the old Demon King. I had a really good feeling about this fight, knowing that for the most part he was a pretty easy boss with a very simple moveset overall. Now what I wasn't expecting was for the weapon to have a collision box. Oh, I got caught on that weapon so many different times. It was the main reason for my death. Anyways, after a few more rounds trying to understand how to not get stuck like a dumbass, I managed to finally take him down after a few more attempts gone wrong. Next up is Wolnir. Getting out of the catacombs and into Airthill, I make my way across the bridge and make my way through to both Distant Manor and opening up the shortcut to Pontiff's Arena. I decided to see how Pontiff would go. Yeah, it doesn't go well. So I decided to go deal with Yorn the Giant. The Airthill dungeons sucked. It just sucked. I got to the cell key for Sigurd, grabbed the ashes for the lightning resin, helped release both Sigurd and Carla, reached the profane capital. I make my way the long way around and into Yorm's boss room.
Okay, I thought she was done, but I rolled there.
Sigurd is the only NPC that I want to summon for this game. So, the fight. The first round did go well. Until at the end of the fight, Yorm looks at me from across the room, jumps, and I swear to everything that is holy, pulled his fist back and did a Superman punch, killing me in one shot. I've never seen something with so much weight throw around so much force at once. Adding salt to the wound, Sigurd killed him right after I died, so I just got to watch the death animation without the rewards. The second attempt, thankfully, was successful, and I finally got Yorm down, giving us the second of the 4 Lords of Cinder. Now, since I got here, I decided that Storm Ruler would be the main weapon that I used for my run. But unknown to me at this time, there was one itty bitty tiny little issue with it that I've never known about. But that would come up at a later date in this run. I figured that if I wanted to stand a chance against Pontiff with a weapon that I couldn't use without holding it two-handed, and possibly gaining access to the strength ring, I would have to kill the dancer. I returned back to Emma and watched her pass away peacefully into the next life. After watching Emma pass on to the next life in peace and dropping from the ceiling was the dancer. Now, up to this point, the only boss that has caused me any form of trouble was Pontiff and the old Demon King. But I was not ready for the absolute beating that the dancer was about to deliver to me.
Okay, now I gotta hope that this guy does something about it.
Hours. I spent hours on the dancer, slowly getting more and more frustrated. I knew the attacks, I knew how to dodge them, but something wasn't clicking. After the first hour and a half I spent on the dancer, I didn't know what to do. So, in the wise words of a certain yellow armored fruit that I know, I took a break, turned the game off for the night, and went to go eat and rest. The next day, I came back with a bit of a plan. I decided to head into the Ashes of Ariandel DLC to get just a few more upgrade materials. Killing Wilhelm and getting to the bonfire right upstairs, I went back to the base game. Returning to the base game, I knew that if I wanted to make any meaningful progress, I would have to overcome the dancer. And so for the next hour, I spent it beating my head against a brick wall. Slowly but surely, things are clicking together. Moves I struggled with earlier were easier to handle. Combos that caught me over and over, I saw them coming and knew how to react. And after just a little bit more time, it finally happened.
Oh my god. Like just footage wise, I have like 2.5 hours. Oh my god. Thank you. 60,000 souls is not worth it.
The dancer was dead. I now had access to more upgrade materials and rings. But my plan concerned not only upgrade materials. There was a weapon I wanted to get my hands on, and also a ring that would help me tremendously in this run. I decided I want to take on Pontiff yet again. This time with the Storm Ruler. The trouble wasn't the weapon, though. It's the shields. I don't really use shields, let alone parry. I started this series with Bloodborne, and the guns were a very fun parry mechanic, which led me when I started playing the Souls trilogy to not really like using guns. And due to this, I wasn't really able to catch the attacks all too well. So I changed directions and went after Osiros. Making my way through the garden, I picked up the Estus shard and a few chunks as well. Reaching the boss arena, I walked in, ready for this to take a while, especially after I just got done with the dancer. But much to my surprise, I was able to do it all in one shot. But this fight did finally reveal to me the one fatal flaw with the Storm Ruler. The durability of normal weapons range from 45 to 110 from what I've seen. The Storm Ruler only has 10. It almost broke on Osiris. I even got the weapon at risk warning. And while he is a chunky boss, I knew that more bosses to come had larger health pools. Making my way past Osiris, I get the Way of the Dragon Jester and make it into the Untended Graves. I'm not sure when I got my hands on the Dragon Slayer axe, but this is a weapon that I wanted to pick up earlier. So, yeah, I really don't know. I'm trying to look through the footage and I don't find any. I decided to upgrade it and use it against Champion Gundyr next. I was having a hard time until finally two things clicked. One, I need a better shield for parrying. I didn't realize that shields have different frames for different parry things. And fun fact, I couldn't use the buckler. So I used a small leather shield I picked up back at the beginning of the game in the Undead Settlement. After using the shield, I was able to finally parry his attacks and encounter with tremendous power from the Dragon Slayer axe. Even if it wasn't wieldable in one hand, it absolutely slammed Champion Gundyr.
Seriously, how the fuck am I getting away with that?
After clearing out Champion Gundyr, I went up to Firelink Shrine, picked up all the items that I could, and this is where I picked up my armor for the rest of the run as well, the Wolf's Knight armor. While on this high of actually figuring out how to parry attacks, I decided to take on Pontiff. It did not take much longer after that to deal with Pontiff. Running through the courtyard, I died getting my way up to Anorlando to a lunging Silver Knight. That sucked. The next run, I decided to take a slight sidetrack to get the Easterner ashes to gain access to large Titanite shards, just in case there were other weapons I wanted to upgrade. Reaching Anorlando, I pushed through and opened up the main doors before heading in to attempt Aldridge. This fight was a little bit rough. I'll be honest, I've never really learned Aldridge's attacks before. I kind of just brute force my way through this fight quite a bit. So learning what moves there are, and how to avoid them, and what moves turn, his entire body into a hitbox is, to say the least, educational. But on the winning attempt, I found out something in the phase 2. Two-handing heavy attacks with the Dragon Slayer axe did amazing damage, and hitting Guinevere's body did even better damage. God, I really hope this is the correct Gwyn. Now with 3 of the 4 Lords of Cinders dead, and in my possession, it was time for me to head back to Lothric Castle, and to start my ascent up the tower. I was confident that I could take on the Dragon Slayer armor with ease. What is... Oh, fuck, it's bouncing. Shit. Okay, new plan. I made my way up to Dragon's Peak, quickly made my way through, and I dispatched the Wyvern. I said I dispatched the... God damn it. I said, quickly dispatch the wyvern. Thank you. After that, I quickly run through the rest of Dragon's Peak to the bonfire outside of the Nameless King's arena and go get the ashes to access the Titanite chunks. I got the Titanite chunks I needed to upgrade my axe to +8 and went back to take on the Dragon Slayer armor. This still took a couple of tries, but after a bit of time, I was finally able to bring down the armor and head into the archives. I'm going to be 100% honest, the archives did not hold anything of significance for me, so I decided to quickly run my way through and make it to the top, getting the elevator to the bonfire open just outside of the arena. Now, the Twin Princes. This is a boss on normal runs that I struggled to high hell with. Outside of this run, I would have said they were easy top 3 hardest boss fights of this entire game.
Shut up, child.
Well, base game at least. I expected to be here longer than I had been for Dancer. But I wasn't. My biggest issue here in this fight was timing, specifically on Lorien swings. They were just mistimed enough to me that for the first couple of attempts in this fight, I was dying upon entering the room, and that opening combo caught me every time. But at some point, I started learning, taking my time, not rushing or spamming the dodge button, and figuring out openings to attack, especially if I stuck to the backside of him. It baited out those single swing roundabouts that he does and is easy to avoid. Lothric being added into the equation kind of added the same issue, just doubling down. The initial rain of spells that he did on Phase 2's entrance distracted me enough to continuously get hit by Lorien's attacks. But after a few more attempts, I finally pushed through, avoided the initial rain and attacks, and finally brought about the end of the Twin Princes. Having killed the Twin Princes and claiming the ashes of the final Lord of Cinders, I helped them claim their places among their thrones, and have the Firekeeper help me ascend into the kiln of the first flame.
Noble lords of Cinder, the fire fades. And the lords go without thrones. Surrender your fires to the true heir. Let him grant death to the old gods of Lordran, deliverers of the first flame.
I lit the final bonfire and begin to ascend my way up the mountain. But little did I know, the mountain in front of me wasn't even close to the peak. This fight broke me. The dancer was the precursor. The Dragon Slayer armor, the twin princes, Osiros, Aldrich, all of them showing me that the game wasn't done with me yet. The Soul of Cinder was a battle of attrition, and I was losing. It felt as if I took one step closer to victory, I was kicked 5 steps back. Like Cepheus, punished to push the rock up the mountain, it felt as if I was getting closer to the top. Then I lose my stride and was pummeled straight back to the beginning. I tried and tried and tried, over and over again, attempt after attempt, run after run, but nothing was working. I couldn't do it. For myself, and for the sake of my own mental, wellness, I had to call it. I got off the game and went to sleep, resting my weary eyes and exhausted body. I took a longer break than before. I had to give myself time to cool off, time to relax, time to think of what I needed to do. But I knew the answer. I knew what I had to do. I had to keep pushing forward. My rings were as good as I can get them. My weapons were maxed out. I was at the highest point of power I could achieve this run. I couldn't hide behind my levels. I couldn't dump vigor or strength like I have so many times before. I could only do one thing. I could only get good. I got food in my system. I set up my recording and started again. But this time, I could feel it. The movesets. While it wasn't fast, I was learning. The spear phase, once a point of agony and frustration, slowly embedded itself into my mind. I could find openings. I knew what to avoid, and what to stay to the side on to avoid his attacks without costing the stamina to do so. The pyromancy, while my biggest pain, I was finding points I felt comfortable with getting a hit in before running away. I just had to keep my distance and my patience on me. Ready. Once the spellcasting staff came out, I knew I had to stay close and stay aggressive. It was my best chance to get through his first phase with as little flask charges as I could. And then Gwyn. Gwyn's attacks, much like Lorian's attacks, were on a timing that I was not adjusted to. And with how little I was getting to second phase, I couldn't wrap my head around it. But I knew what to do. It was just the execution I was lacking. I had to fight my instincts to spam the roll button. I had to wait for the attack. The one lesson I learned from this run the key to victory. It was patience. Patience and time. And finally, everything clicked. And it happened. I finally reached the top of the mountain. I killed the soul of Cinder. I approached the summon sign and called upon the Firekeeper to hold onto the last embers of light as the fire of the first flame fades away, leading into the age of the dark.
Ashen One, hearest thou my voice still?
But that's not it. That's not the end of this. In the dark, I see it. I see who awaits my arrival, the foes that still roam in the barren cold, in the clouds on the mountaintops, at the ends of the world. I knew what I needed to do, and I know what is next. I just hope I'm strong enough to do it.